And then when you're finding new friends, these are some of the rules of the road that you see over to the left. I'll read it. It says, connecting to someone on LinkedIn implies that you know them well. That's the key differentiator in most cases, although Facebook's kind of the same way. They'll have access to people that you know. Others may ask you about them and vice versa. You'll get updates on their activity. So LinkedIn allows you to invite colleagues, classmates, friends, business partners without entering their email addresses. However, recipients can indicate that they don't know you. If they do, you'll be asked to enter an email address with each future invitation. So that could really slow you down. So if you start to abuse the system and try to connect with people cold and you get flagged by LinkedIn, they're going to make you put in an email address every time you go out to connect with somebody. So over here, this is what it looks like for an invitation. These are your options. Colleague, classmate, we've done business together, friend, other, I don't know Kristen. So if you're on the I don't know part, you're probably not going to get anywhere with this. So they're trying to burn it into your brain that this isn't about a cold calling expedition. This is where you can customize your personal note, and I highly recommend that you do that, even if it's in its most basic form. That's curious. And put in a personal note. Put their name in there. Put a refresher about why, where you met them, how you know them, who knows who, that type of thing. So the other thing that you can do is add email addresses manually. It takes longer, but in some cases that might be your only option. So like if you go to a networking meeting, you have a bunch of business cards, you're searching on LinkedIn, you don't see anybody on there, there's a way you could sit down and put in one by one. I don't recommend it, but it is an option. Another thing, we talked about shared connections earlier where you want to connect with this person or you have a shared connection with Kristen. You want to get introduced to this guy here. So you hit get introduced and she introduces you to him through that shared connection. And LinkedIn will tell you who you have shared connections with so you can leverage that. Second degree connections also make it easier for you to connect as well. So we talked about earlier you have your first degree, second degree, and third degree connections. So LinkedIn lets down the gate a little bit, makes it a little easier for you if you have a second degree connection. You don't have to go through some of the speed bumps that can slow you down to connect with a second degree connection. There's also a way where you can search by industry. Here's a whole list. Relationships, groups that you belong to, languages, schools, companies, keywords. That's why these are so important. We talked about searching with postal codes and within vicinities of postal codes. When you're uploading or you're importing your desktop email contacts, you may hit the wall with LinkedIn. They do have restrictions about how many you can add at any given point in time. So if you end up getting to a point where you're trying to do a mass upload, you get that red message, you can contact LinkedIn's customer service and ask for a little more room. Usually they'll grant it to you. They're pretty good about that. You can also manage your network with tags. So we talked about earlier segregating your connection lists by tagging them. So there's certain tags, and you can name your own, create your own tags if you like, or you can use the predetermined ones like group members, friends, partners, colleagues, classmates. So you just go in there and you click off the ones of your contacts that fall into those different categories so that when you are doing strategic sharing in our next seminar, you will have a way of grouping those in such a way where you can reach out with them so you can stay on message to the right audience at the right time with the right information.